Motion to resume public session. Ms. Littlewood and Ms. Guys, all in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Monroe to Orleans BOCE's presentation. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having us back. So Dennis and I are here early in the year this year, right? But we already have things to report. So first of all, we have one integrated preschool classroom at Neil Armstrong, and we would like to thank the board and the staff for welcoming our students and really including them in many of the activities. So thank you very much for doing that. In the area of curriculum instruction and professional development, we are providing instructional support to the Gates Central School District in the areas of next generation learning standards, APPR, and instructional support for ELA. This past summer, you've had 379 students participate in regional summer school, taking either new remedial or review courses. We also housed a clinic out of here, a reading clinic. You had 34 students in that. In CTE, we are hosting our annual tour day on Friday, December 9th. Our classes will not be on session on that day, as we will be hosting current 10th graders who are interested in the CTE for next year. Some of the student highlights there. DeAndre Phelps, a junior from Outdoor Sports Power Sports Technology, was a September 2022 Skills USA Framework Superstar for demonstrating self-motivation skills. And in the area of Mars and CATS, we are working with Troy and Sarah Messino and other Gates Child Eye leaders, along with 3 elementary principals, to analyze and maximize the use of iReady benchmark assessment data. What this will do, it'll focus on a collaborative analysis on using the data to set instructional groupings and setting specific building goals for instruction and intervention based on the assessment results. Going forward, the principals plan to have Ryan Mayer give presentations to their faculty, as well as set up an area where teachers can stop in and analyze together the iReady data. And then BOCES for Science, right now you're leasing 18 different kits. Titles from BOCES for Science for a total of 274 kits. Dennis and I just want to let you know that our move to our new location for BOCES for Science is moving ahead. We're hoping that, by the first of the year, we will be totally moved in there. Obviously, construction in some cases has held it back a little bit, with COVID and not being able to get things, etc. So our landlords at Turner Drive had extended the lease monthly, and then we hopefully will be out of there by the end of December. We will have a ribbon cutting, probably more like in February, at Rochester Tech Park, and that's the new home for BOCES for Science. Just a reminder, that used to be Elementary Science, ESP. It's gone BOCES for Science now, because 4 BOCES are JMT, Monroe 1, Monroe 2, Genesee Valley, and Wayne Finger Lakes BOCES are all participating in this premier science program that will be there. So that we've built that program. We kind of took the best out of each of the 4 to offer a premier program where, first of all, districts are not having to compete on which BOCES do you go to, and it's really a cost savings for the JMT, for our joint management team. So that'll be coming up. We are concentrating with State Education Department and with our superintendents on graduation measures. There will be more information coming out in the coming months, where stakeholders of all sorts will be able to look at some of the recommendations coming out of the State Education Department and out of the Blue Ribbon Commission. The Blue Ribbon Commission is made up of 64 individuals across all walks of life that will be giving feedback to the Board of Regents on what New York State graduation measures should look like. That's a piece that's extremely a high priority for the Board of Regents. Another high priority for the Board of Regents is career and technical education. You've probably seen some articles on that where, the State Education Department is looking to make sure that all students have some type of a career tech experience. And in our area, we're also looking at individuals with disabilities and how we can implement more levels for those kids in terms of career tech education. And then another, a big one obviously is recruitment and the pipeline. You know, again, across the state, we're finding there's not a lot of people, not a lot of students or adults in the pipeline, and concentrating on those things to really kind of bring out, public school education. Which brings me to Act for Education. Thank you very much, board members, for having that in your boardroom. Tomorrow, we're going to be, myself, Dan White, and Elizabeth Murray from Causeway will be presenting to the Monroe County School Boards Association on Act for Education. We'll have an impact report that we're going to be handing out in terms of all the things that we accomplished last year and all the things that we plan to do this year. But Act for Education is a way to get our stories out about all of our public schools in our region and all the good work we're doing to combat, obviously, some of the negative articles sometimes that you will see coming out. There's a lot of great things going on behind the scenes that our public needs to know about. Dennis is going to talk about our annual meeting.
Yeah, invite you to that on April 12th, 2023. And I want to thank you again for letting me represent HCHI. I'm proud to do it.
Dennis remains our president. I think he's been there for 110 years now, but he's loving every minute of it, right? Yeah. And then the annual meeting is going to be in person. So again, we're going to hopefully nothing goes backwards. And I think we had a very good experience last year. We're able to do it and that will be back at the Professional Development Center again. And before we take any questions, I'd like to thank Superintendent Daly for his involvement, his participation, active participation in the superintendent's West Side and also the Monroe County School Superintendents. We've have had to all stick together in order to get through some 2 difficult years and now into this one, still problem solving. Chris is a very active member of that group, and Chris, I thank you for your time and effort and for the support that you give me. So questions?
Questions? I have one on, you mentioned something about the regents wanting to get every student to have some experience with a vocational experience. How do you see that, kind of transpiring or evolving?
Well, I think some people think everyone has to go to a BOCES, and that's not accurate, okay? A career tech can also happen in the school districts, okay? They don't always have to be approved state education courses. They could be a type of, and that's what they're looking at, Jeff. The bigger issue is in lower grades so that students understand what's out there. Not that they're deciding on paths at an early age, but just understanding all the different paths that are out there. So there'll be more and more of those type of things coming out, so that districts could do that. Another example of that was like the seal of civic readiness, where again, they're doing that with all students so students can see the civic types of things and all. They may not be going in that direction, but it's something that's opening their eyes to what's out in the community once they leave graduation. So it could be a BOCES. Well, I should mention, obviously it's a big thing that I forgot to mention, is that this year our enrollment for CTE was approximately a couple hundred students more than typical. We are out of space at the Career Tech Center on Big Ridge Road. We are now working with our board, and we have a space committee looking for a second site in terms of where that would be and and what we would put there. So one of the things that we've struggled with is we have heavy equipment, and we've lost our land lab, and we've got to have a land lab. So what we're trying to do is identify space where we would have a land lab and a place where possibly we could build either other classes that we could have off. You want to mention anything about the space?
Well, we've met a few times, and right now it's we're just kind of looking at different areas and trying to narrow down. And Jill always keeps coming back asking for more, but it's really great to see kids going for CTE and that. I mean, the trades are crying for them, so the more we can do for them, the better it is for them.
With through Act for Education, we're working with a lot of businesses and industry, and they're actually working much more with us now, all districts, okay, BOCES and all districts, in terms of how we can get kids in the pipeline there. So.
That's great.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think in today's NISBA newsletter, there was, I think maybe the front page, I started to read it and then I had to come back to it later, about what you're talking about, vocational training, not necessarily even being through.
Regionalized?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
If you
wow.
read that one, yeah, if you read that in there, that came from the commissioner's office where they're starting to look at that. Because some of the areas, we're very rich in our area with the opportunities that we have for kids. In many of, so there's 37 of me out there, 37 district superintendents, and some of my colleagues' areas, they absolutely have very, very little opportunities for career tech education. Geographically, they're like, there's miles apart, and it's very difficult for kids to have, so that they're looking at, and in some cases, we have still a lot of school districts with 250, 300 kids in the state, right? And so it's obviously very difficult for a district that size to build like what we have at Career Tech Center, so they may need to be looking at some regionalization there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for having us again, and the best of luck to you this school year.
Take care.
Good night.
Agenda changes.
We have changes to personnel, and we move the human resources report to October 24th.
Thank you very much. Moving on to board president comments. Want to thank Troy and his team for putting on a great superintendent's conference day. I heard it was highly successful and great feedback from everybody that attended, so well done. And it's, rumor has it, it's School Board Recognition Month. I want to take a moment to say thank you to all my fellow board members for your time, effort, and sacrifice. I know everybody could be doing different things, but you choose to be here, so thank you very much. And with that, moving on to points of interest. Any points of interest this evening? Ms. Guys?
I attended Meet the Teacher Night for 7th and 8th grade at the middle school, which is always nice to see how many parents were there in each class. And it was so refreshing just to hear how excited the teachers were for the year and the way that they're approaching their teaching this year, the gaps that they know they have to fill in. I walked out really just relieved hearing how excited they were for the year.
Great. Any other points of interest? Ms. Coffey?
I attended the Apple Dumpling Festival at Brasser. Just checking my calendar to make sure it was after the last board meeting. I always feel bad when I repeat it afterwards. But it was a great family event. There was lots of kids there, lots of adults there, lots of staff there, retired staff, and events for the families inside and outside. And really just bringing the whole community together for a fundraiser, but also a family fun time. And it's an event that the school does every year, and it's really great to see the joy on people's faces.
Fantastic. Any other points of interest? I do have one. It was sharing. I want to share my. I didn't get a chance to share my experience at homecoming. I had the opportunity to do a walkabout and talk to some of the staff and teachers. And one of the common things that I observed in talking with everybody was their passion. They were excited to help our students grow and be part of their lives. And, you know, they shared about how they sometimes had to balance their personal life with work. But they definitely shared their excitement and their desire to be with our kids and shape their lives going forward. And that was, you know, a reoccurring theme with everybody I talked to, which I thought was absolutely amazing. And I wanted just to share that out. I forgot to say something about that last board meeting, but it's definitely noteworthy in our district. Moving on to reports and meetings. Mr. Scott.
We had a Monroe County Legislative Committee meeting. We're starting to finalize our position papers. These are documents we give to our representatives to explain our concerns and our wants, if you will, about different issues. We always have one on mandates. It's sort of like historical, and we would do it all the time. We added one on electric buses, so that's gonna be finalized. It has to go to the executive committee of the Monroe County School Boards. Once that's done, we'll have copies available electronically for everybody to take a look at them. Like I said, we pass these out when we go visit our state reps, federal reps. We don't do county too much. And when we go to the Board of Regents and talk to them. We are doing a virtual advocacy day on December 5th. See who can hook up to what. It does turn out that when they're in town locally, then they really prefer doing Zoom meetings than in person. And we do tend to get more representatives than we have in the past when we do it that way. So, okay. We also started to talk about priorities, in terms of other issues. Probably the top priority we had right now had to do assessing the formula for the foundation aid. We recognize that the state has promised to, provide us with that, but, we're always saying, look, it's got to be tweaked a little bit better. There are some districts that don't get any benefit out of it. Other districts do. I think we're sort of fortunate. Another one that actually was second on the list had to do with lunch, free breakfast and lunch, reinstating that program. So these are two things we'll definitely bring up with our state and federal reps when we get to meet them. So, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Any other reports of meetings? Hearing none, moving on to visitor comments. The Gates Joli Central School District Board of Education invites public comment at this time. Speakers may not yield their time to another speaker. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. We ask that individuals state their name and address prior to comments and utilize the podium microphone to address the board. Although the board will not respond directly to individual comments at this time, items brought to the attention of the board may be taken under consideration for future response or action. In order to comply with laws related to confidentiality, we ask that issues related to specific school district personnel or students be brought to the attention of the superintendent of schools privately. The board reserves the right to terminate a speaker's comments if his or her comments are in excess of 3 minutes, are repetitive, or are not appropriate for discussion in an open public forum. Charles Johnson.
How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
With recognition of the board, yes, thank you for your time and sacrifice, also for being here. I noticed Mr. Ball isn't here. I really wanted to just say thank you for him and his team for, I guess, retrieving money for the health services, and also hoping that maybe they can find more of those little loopholes that we've been paying on. That would be awesome. And I guess the last thing is just to bring up the name Randy Weingarten. She is the president of the biggest teacher union. I have technically no reason to bring her up other than the fact that it's politics. I heard that today she's in Ukraine, and it's just a second classic example of politics being played. I don't know why, but I just want to point out because of our recent election with our own teachers union, where their politics being played in, with them kind of encouraging, I guess you can say, all the residents to who they should vote for and say yes to vote for raising your taxes. But that's it. That's the only reason why I wanted to bring her name up, and also to thank Mr. Ball and his team. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion items, ad hoc update.
So this ad hoc committee has been, when ad hoc committee met and, we kind of going through the board handbook, making some adjustments and changes, updating material, or even adding things that we've added. We have some recommendations, and
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to Education Foundation update.
Do you want me to do it? The Education Foundation met this past week. They have not yet received any fall grant applications, and they would just like to put out a reminder for district staff and teachers and families that there are fall grant application deadlines coming up. And the deadline is October 15th, so it is soon, but they would love to be able to support some students in some great learning activities.
Excuse me. The annual meeting is October 17th. It's a virtual meeting. We start at 4 o'clock. So between now and then, if anybody has any questions about any of the resolutions, I sent out an update showing the resolution committee's vote, the Area 2 vote, and my current position, if you will. Our votes are dependent upon what the board wants, not necessarily what I want. So we had a few that we disagreed with the resolution committee on. One, because we weren't sure what it meant, if it was needed, it had to do with accommodations for special ed students with disabilities. Legislation expanding New York State charter laws, quite honestly, again, we don't understand the intent. We do want to expand the laws. We want them to put some more restrictions on the charter schools, hold them more accountable. So, yeah.
Can I ask you a question? So when you have this meeting on the 17th, are you able to ask for clarification at that
Yeah,
point?
we
Okay.
can, and what we did at our Area 2 meeting, we did have somebody from New York State School Board Association there, and we asked them, could you
Right, I
check and
assume
find
you
out,
already asked, yeah.
because it didn't make any sense with more than anything else. One talked about the state fully funding arts and music. My concern with it was, as I stated in my rationale, the state doesn't fully fund anything. So, and what's the purpose here? Well, the purpose is for smaller schools who have minimal fine arts and music programs to get a little more money so they can keep what they have, because they're not mandated. So, other than what I think middle schools art or English or music or something unit there. So, but I don't think it's an issue. I don't think we're going to get the state to do anything for it. Remember, we're giving NYSBA direction as to what to expend their resources on. So unless somebody's a strong opinion about that one.
And I did respond to you about
Yeah.
that one.
So-
My reasoning for having a different thought on that one was because, again, it's not as mandated as often. It's just having that awareness there for the smaller districts who don't necessarily have the money to try and help them keep that on there.
Right. That's I think the logic behind it. But again, since it's not mandated, even if they had the funding, where would it be? The state doesn't categorically fund a particular subject area or core subject area.
And I don't think they're trying to get.
So the district could get the money and still do away with some of their music programs. So there's no guarantee there. I don't think it's.
about the money per se.
Yep.
So, excuse me.
Yeah.
So if the intent is to support some of the smaller school districts, can't they be more targeted in their language to be more specific versus fully funding art and music?
Yeah, they could be, except all we have is a resolution submitted by Duchess Bosse's, and what they want. So that's what we have to react to. Sometimes people will submit a resolution, and then they'll have a rationale that has almost nothing to do with the resolution.
That's helpful.
So, the point is they're on a different tangent, so
Right.
you go from there. There was one about revisions to transportation statutes to permit a school to provide aidable transportation outside voter-approved limits. The voters vote, and we're restricted by that. And what's interesting, they want it to be aidable, but my understanding is that transportation costs are aidability is based upon cost. So if you don't spend any money, you don't get any aid back. So if there's no cost to the district, how is it aidable? So we asked them to clarify that one as well. Oh, there was one about security personnel having to be certified in work that would give them more information about laws of education laws, curriculum, things like that, and nobody at Area 2 supported that. No, I mean, it's like, first off, we'd pay for it. We have a hard time finding people to be security personnel. So, and because what was the purpose of it? Well, they'll be more tuned to, well, what's their job, you know? So, they didn't go well. There's one about overseeing parent. The resolution talks about regulations providing oversight over special education parents and rules of conduct. In the rationale, they talked about parent advocates, lawyers. Well, that's not what the resolution says. As far as I'm concerned, if a parent misbehaves at a CSD meeting, we have a code of conduct that we can apply. So there wasn't much support for that one either. Stipend for school board members, there was absolutely no support for that. Again, you know, who's going to pay for it? You know, so, and one of the schools wanted to support legislation to reduce the impact of charter schools. Okay, what impact? Financial, you know, enrollment, you know, what's the impact you want it to go? So again, the Area 2 wasn't supportive of that. Those are the main ones that we were trying on with things. So the meeting, because it's virtual, it's sometimes difficult to get a dialogue going, you know, between people, or at least a percentage. So I've expressed my concern to, you know, NISBA that I prefer going back to live meetings, but, you know, they have reasons, but to me, it's just because they realize how much cheaper it is. That's all. So, if any other issues, just let me know.
Okay, we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to approval consensus agenda. Motion to approve the consensus agenda. Motion, please. Dr. Richards and Ms. Littlewood, questions or comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion to approve consensus items C through F. Motion, please. Ms. Keyes? Ms. Coffey? Questions or comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to action items, 6A, board member resignation. Motion to approve the resignation of a board member, Andrea Hinchey-Unson, effective December 19th, 2022. Motion, please. Ms. Keyes, Mr. Moscato, questions or comments? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. And I want to take a moment to thank Ms. Unson for her. Okay. Great. Moving on. Superintendent's comments.
Well, if you're interested in filling the vacant board seat that'll become available January 1st through May 23rd, 2023, we'll be looking for a successful candidate who has personal integrity, intelligence, and appreciates the value of public education, willing to assume responsibilities, willing and able to make sacrifices of their time, energy, and knowledge for the benefit of the district, is available to attend the remainder of the Board of Education meetings. They must be a qualified voter of the district, a United States citizen of at least 18 years of age or older, must be a resident for at least the last year uninterrupted, may not have been removed from any school district office within the preceding year, may not reside with another member of the same school board or as a member of the same family, and may not be a current employee of our district, and may not simultaneously hold another incompatible public office. The deadline to apply will be November 7th by 4 p.m. By Friday, November 4th, you need to submit an intent to apply to our district clerk, with the application being due Monday, November 7th by 4 p.m. You'll need to submit proof of voter registration, a letter of intent that includes the number of years lived in district, occupation, qualifications, involvement in our school community, and the top 2 issues that Gates Chi-Li will face in the next 3 years. The board will review all applicants and choose selected applicants to interview. The successful applicant will fill the position. To fill the position will be announced at our Board of Education regular business meeting on Tuesday, December 6th at 6:30 p.m. All of this information will be available on our website or by contacting our district clerk. When a board member resigns, there are a couple options of what the board can do. One is to not fill the seat until the next election. One is to seek applicants and choose to appoint somebody, or they could ask the superintendent of the local BOCES to appoint someone. This board at this time is going to go through the process of asking for applicants from the community and then interviewing some applicants to see about possibly appointing them on December 6th. So all this information will be available on our website later this evening. And again, you need to inquire by November 4th and submit all documents to our district clerk no later than 4 p.m. on November 7th. Excited to tell everybody, make sure you're marking your calendars. It's almost time for our Fall Family Fest. This year's theme is Harvesting Health and Wellness in Our Community. Please join us at the event on Thursday, November 10th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Gates Charlie Fieldhouse. Excuse me. I must be allergic to all the fun and games and live performances and flu vaccines, a passport fair, or our annual coat drive, and great opportunities to connect with the community, businesses, and live performances. That coat drive kicks off 2 weeks from today. The Spartan Way Coat Drive runs from October 25th to November 8th. If you are interested in donating, you can drop off new or gently used coats, hats, and mittens from October 25th through November 8th at any of our school buildings, the Westside YMCA, on Elm Grove, or the Chi-Lite Public Library. Coats will be available for distribution at our Fall Family Fest. We're excited to announce about improving our technology in all GC classrooms. Fusion Digital will be installing Samsung displays to replace all our smart boards, and it's scheduled to begin in the high school very shortly on October 17th. The company plans to install 10 to 20 boards a night, with the installation plan is to move from high school down to the elementaries and then finish with the middle school as soon as possible. The installation occurs at night, so after our students have left, so there should be minimal disruption to the classrooms. We'll also be improving safety in all our buildings. Throughout the school year, we'll be placing every camera in every building in the district. We're also adding several to improve our viewing environment. Very excited to announce that GC again led the way in New York for communication awards. We won 5 awards from the NISPRA Communication Contest, including 2 awards of excellence, which is the highest honor. Our budget newsletter, Gates Charlie Central School District Newsletter Special Edition, and our community newsletter, Gates Charlie Central School District Newsletter, received awards of excellence. Our strategic campaign, Energized, Empowered, Equitable, won the Award of Honor. Our strategic campaign, Building Brighter Futures, won the Award of Merit. And our video, Words of Wisdom for the Class of 2022, also won the Award of Merit. So congratulations to our communications team. This is Petrosino. Again, 5 awards, pretty impressive. Excited to announce our unified bowling team begins again on October 17th. A huge point of pride for our district, involving our kids and together and getting unified bowling. And then we will cheer everybody up because we'll be hosting the Section 5 cheerleading for all classes this year, small schools to large schools. So this used to be at RIT. What's exciting is our booster clubs will be selling stuff, the food throughout the day, so they have a great opportunity to make some nice fundraising and concession sales, and also we get to showcase our great facilities again. On October 7th, as referenced earlier, we had our Superintendent's Conference Day. Students again kicked off a day of learning for our staff when members of the Advanced Treble Choir sang our national anthem this past Friday morning. In addition, we had alumnus, teacher aide, and U.S. Army Reservist Tiara Clark led us in the pledge. During the keynote presentation, Board of Regent Ruth Turner did an outstanding job sharing how we can continue to improve along our equity journey in our district. Each employee received professional development related to our district and equity goals. It was a very rewarding day of learning together, and the feedback has been outstanding to the attention to detail that our team put together a great day for all. Next, if I could get a couple help from some of the administrators, we have board recognition week. Gonna pass out something?
You can take two.
Yes, we are slower than ever. All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. So I want to thank each of our Board of Education members for your dedication to the students, staff, and community of Gates Chi-Li. October is School Board Recognition Month. I am certain that being a school member entails more than any of these individuals bargained for when they initially got the idea to run for the board. That being said, nearly all of them have remained on the board throughout at least one re-election, which isn't always the case. What they have given us through the years is strong leadership through challenges and celebrations, clarity through debate and decision-making, and a sustained vision of excellence for our district. All these qualities are essential for organizations to be successful. To top it all off, I think it is easy to see most of the time that they really enjoy the work we all do together. It's also clear that they enjoy simply spending time together. That also isn't always the case for school boards. Their sustained leadership and grounded decision-making, with student success always being the top priority, is a major contributing factor to what has made Gates Chi-Li a destination district in our Rochester region. Each member contributes her or his own strengths to the district, and these different contributions and perspectives make them a formidable group. Rather than sowing discord, these different perspectives actually strengthen their capacity as a board. They are able to navigate their differences, pick up on each other's perspectives, and ultimately arrive at the best possible outcome for our Spartans and school district. We are fortunate to have such a dedicated group of people leading our school district. I want to thank them for their leadership, their commitment to our students and our community, and their support of our mission and vision. They are each great examples of our Spartan way. Our district is without a doubt better because we have them on our team. Please join me in thanking them for their service to our school community. All right, that is my report, sir.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Daly. Moving on. Motion to adjourn. Ms. Littlewood, Ms. Guys, all in favor? The vote is unanimous. We are adjourned.